You and I have sort of lived at the coalface, all the great analogies today, but lived at the coalface on the latest wave of EV. It's been around for a long old time now. But what's really exciting is we're not seeing the stranded cars by the side of the road that ran out of power. We're not seeing the burning platform, left on the junction because it caught fire, all that kind of thing. And I think we are at the very beginning. We're starting to see a trend in our user base of that wider adoption. I'm cautious with the word mass adoption, but we've had, techies buying premium vehicles to experience something new as an extension of their iPhone or their Android device, whatever it is. What we're starting to see now more and more through our customer service is these are regular people who've made a lease-based vehicle decision and they want to get to know it, but ultimately they just want it to work, and it is working. If you read the Daily Mail and other outlets, these aren't going to catch fire. You're not left stranded at power. It's very rare you want to go A to B over 1,000 miles, things like that. And infrastructure's responding really well. Yes, it is a bit new. Yes, there have been some pain points, but those articles that still come up from time to time are less and less, if they ever existed really before.
Yeah, it would be inexcusable if the automotive sector ended up a bit like the smartphone sector today, where a few short years ago you could take the back off of your smartphone and you could replace the battery. And if you buy a Fairphone today, Dutch startup that makes ethical modular phones, you can have the screen off in about 30 seconds if you know what you're doing. You can repair it really easily. I believe that the right to repair laws will prevent this from happening, but if we ever end up with an EV that's got a completely sealed battery pack that has to be chucked out with the car, then that's never going to happen. And in fact, I'll tell you why that won't happen. That's because the EU battery regulation that's come in, and of course, technically we're not in the EU just now, but we are very much, as a smaller right-hand drive market versus that massive block, manufacturers are not going to design just around us. They're going to design around the larger kind of customer base. And one of the rules that's come in is that new cells from 2031 onwards need to have an increasing percentage of recycled content within them. So I think off the top of my head, we're talking 6% recycled lithium, 6% recycled nickel, 16% recycled cobalt. And those are sliding scales that increase throughout the 2030s. So it's important for automotive OEMs to be able to easily recover the battery and to recycle it. But we are starting to see an increasing move towards cell to pack, where instead of having bite-sized modules, you end up with basically every cell kind of linked together to form one big battery. I'm hearing rumors of clever ways of being able to take chunks out of that cell to pack design if required, but I would need to look at some of the latest developments that are, once they come out, to see if that's actually happened or not. However, recyclability is going to be increasingly important, and that is something that these big OEMs will pay attention to.
I think there's this whole debate about subscription of software, so not subscription as in vehicle subscription, but the subscription of software and features. I don't think it's really in customers' minds right now, which I think is why there's probably not a market for it. But I do think that becomes a thing that comes later. Right?
I'm with you on that.
This idea of upgrading features or adding stuff, removing stuff, I think it's really.
I think that's a point to consider, because at the end of the day, as you know, OEMs, it costs a lot of money to do all of this. All of these, software ups, everything that they have to do is a lot of money, and connectivity itself is very expensive. So how are they going to monetize it? The only way they can really monetize it is actually ultimately it's by charging the customer. That's the way to do it. And so, it might be that case. You're driving along and it might come up on your screen. It'll say, your car's got 200 brake horsepower. How would you like to have another 100 brake horsepower? And you're going, and it's been monitoring you. So the way you drive, that you're actually quite an aggressive driver. You go, I'd love it. It's £5 a month. £5 a month, another 100 horsepower. Do that, press the button, you've got it. So that, to me, those sorts of things is an opportunity for OEM to generate money out of connectivity, because connectivity is expensive.
Yeah.
And at this moment in time, it's just a nice to have.
Yes,
Oh, that's a lovely thing to have.
Yeah.
Now they need to say, how can we get our money back on it?
Yeah. You get the software updates for the first 3 years, and
Yeah.
after that, you subscribe to the Lotus
That's right.
package, which is 10 quid a month, and
Yeah.
you get the latest software updates. Absolutely, I'm having that. Great.
Of course you are.
Yeah, you're straight
Yeah.
into it, and I think but customers have got to get their heads around it, and I think because we're really only into the first season, let's
Yes.
say, of software-defined vehicles, I think now everyone's just like, ooh, wow.
Yeah.
And then it will become a thing, because at the minute everyone's just getting everything because we're wowed by by what it can do and how it impacts the vehicle.